Okay, this is the Moro arc. Everything goes the same up until meeting Moro, except that, I exist in it. So let's discuss, like, the powers of people. Not, like, the power levels and stuff, but, like, just their power. So, Vegeta is by far the weakest without Ultra Instinct or anything. Although he has, unlike the Vegeta in canon, this one has a lot more respect and less chaotic of a personality. So he actually has started to get glimpses into Ultra Instinct thanks to the help of me and Goku, who both by now have mastered Ultra Instinct. And when we reach Namek with Moro, we're ready to take him out. I decided I wanted to use my full power. But Moro is smart. He's very smart. As soon as he senses the power touch the ground, he starts to absorb energy. And even though me and Goku, who by now I've told, to go Ultra Instinct, he's able to go Ultra Instinct, but he doesn't know about the energy drain, so he can't avoid it, at first, although I can. I jump off the planet, or I jump off the surface of the planet and start flying. But Vegeta, can't really do that, and I can dodge the energy theft, and Goku can too, but Moro already has a huge amount of power, and he's still draining Vegeta, who can't move fast enough, because he hasn't mastered Ultra Instinct like us. Although he uses a move that Beerus had started teaching him, and he Hakkai'd a little bit of the planet, just a tree, and it blocked some of the energy, which saved a little bit of his. He instantly powered up into Blue Evolution, which, yeah, Blue Evolution. He has it. Sorry. And then he actually he, as soon as he does that, he drops down into blue because he's already tired out. So Goku, who unlike me has lost a tiny bit of his energy, which by the way almost restored Moro to youth. Moro telepathically talks to Cranberry, and tells him that he has changed his wish. He wants his wish to be his second wish to be to become 10 times as powerful, which he believes the Dragon Balls can do. Or if that doesn't work, he tells him to make him immortal. Sorry. And that immortality actually gets a huge boost in power tomorrow. But because we had to start flying instantly and we're trying to avoid his energy theft, we actually get there slower. So, and Moro ends up already having a single, one Dragon Ball, which means, two Dragon Balls. So, we charge forward, and powering up to our fullest. Goku, who by now actually has Super Saiyan Gold, which he got because of he was only able to get because of being in a fusion. He also, none of us know exactly how to get Limit Breaker Super Saiyan Gold, and we know that it's probably not gonna be easy. So I power up into my full power Super Saiyan Gold form, charging Moro, and in that full power is basically Ultra Instinct plus Super Saiyan Gold, and it's actually enough to almost kill Moro instantly as soon as I power up into it and attack him. But Vegeta, who has by now dropped down into Super Saiyan God, is pretty much useless trying to keep up with Moro. I don't know how to say it. Moro? Okay. Yeah, but Moro is easily knocking him around, and then he ends up gutting Vegeta with his hand. And then draining every last ounce of his energy, which is still pretty big. And by now, he's absorbed a bit of my power, and a lot of Goku's, and a lot more power from Goku. And currently, me and Goku have both surpassed Gods of Destruction. We're basically challenging. I think we might have even surpassed Whis, but probably not. We're close to Whis in power right now. And Moro, so now Moro has a lot of energy, a lot of power, and I drop out of my full power Super Saiyan Gold since it's draining. I'm fighting Moro, and Goku's losing quite a bit of power, and Moro is draining my energy too. And I tell Goku to give me some of his energy so I can power back up. So he does that, but then Moro is able to force him to drop into Ultra Instinct, which is way less draining for him. So he still has quite a bit of energy left, and he's now dodging the energy theft again. But soon after that, he drops into Super Saiyan for a couple seconds to catch his breath, and because of using Ultra Instinct is really straining. And then he only is able to go back up into Omen, and I tell Goku to not keep stopping or he might die tomorrow. And Moro grabs his neck and starts absorbing his power as I am trying to attack him. But he now has enough power to actually block my attacks before dropping Goku to the ground, completely knocked out. I'm the only one fighting him, but at this point I don't even have enough energy to stay in Super Saiyan Gold full power. So I drop into Super Saiyan Gold normally, and Moro is currently even with that form, which is about twice as strong as Beerus, since I'm pretty sure Whis is more than twice as strong. So this is twice as strong as even Beerus. So, yeah, Moro is really powerful, and he's even with me and draining my energy. So I drop into Mastered Ultra Instinct as I'm dodging his attacks. But he's easily fighting me now because my speed isn't as good, but I'm at least dodging his energy absorption. So I power up into Super Saiyan Gold the moment I am attacking, and defending. But I stay in Ultra Instinct mainly, which is slowing the drainage and the amount of power I'm using up, but it's still heavy. And right now I'm just buying time for Goku and Vegeta to regain consciousness, because I know that I send Goku some of my power, and then now I can't even go Super Saiyan Gold, which means Moro, being smart and fast, was not only able to drain my power, but also become stronger than me. I power up even further, and said, "I didn't do all this training for nothing, Moro. I'll destroy you." But then Moro just laughed at how weak I was currently, and he said, "Huh, I'll think about your offer." but I politely declined as he was able to grab onto my throat and start absorbing my energy, and I was left unconscious on the planet, and sorry, okay, and I knew that he was stronger, faster, and smarter than me. So I got up, half conscious, a couple hours later, and then I faded back out of consciousness. And Goku, Vegeta, and me were back on Maris' ship. He told us that he had saved us just in the nick of time from the planet exploding. And Moro is now not only young, but also he had 3 wishes that he could make. He made a wish to free all of the prisoners, to become immortal, and to double his strength. Because Purunga couldn't do that much to increase his strength. And the Namekians now were completely destroyed. Only a couple were able to escape when the Earth Dragon Balls were used. But I knew that Moro was super powerful. And I guessed that he had been slowly draining my energy as I was recuperating, because I had barely gotten a Zenkai. And then I dropped into base again, because I had been in Super Saiyan when I woke up, and I said, Moro is probably even stronger than I am now. It was one thing trying to deal with his energy theft, but now I have to deal with somebody who's as strong as me. And Goku in his strongest form. I might not be able to kill him. Or at least not alone. I tell everyone to set a course for Yardrat, and once there, we learn. I already have instant transmission and force spirit fission, but I tell Vegeta and Goku to learn force spirit fission, because if we can do that, then we can we can take our energy back. And because we're an Ultra Instinct, and when we're an Ultra Instinct, we can dodge his energy absorption. But then I instant transmission us back to Earth as soon as I have King Kai tell everyone to raise their power levels, and Gohan, who has been training quite a bit now, has enough power for me to sense it from Yardrat, and I'm thinking, thank God. If I couldn't sense that, then we might have been stuck here. But I instant transmission us in, and we use the time chamber as we're trying to perfect our forms. Vegeta actually gets control of Ultra Instinct Omen and a new form, which he calls the Ultimate Vegeta form. It's not ultimate. It's kind of like a destroyer form, or Ultra Ego, but instead of that, it has like silver lined red hair. So, and his aura is like a mix. But he can barely sustain that, because in this timeline, Vegeta is a lot different from normal Vegeta. So instead of being purely ego and it being impossible for him to get the Ultra Instinct, he's able to perfect both sides. Well, not perfect them, but hone them to the point that they can be used together for a couple of seconds. And when he does that, he's equal to my full power, Super Saiyan Gold. And Goku and me are able to increase our Kaioken output to 2,000, which is just insane. So and we can do that on top of our form. But when we do the 2,000, we can only keep it up for about 5 minutes before our body starts to tear ourselves apart. And I can only do it for a minute when I'm in full power Super Saiyan Gold. So we all power up to our fullest in for one last sparring session. And Goku and Vegeta are actually pretty evenly matched as I'm trying to fight with them. Goku's able to solar flare me and keep fighting Vegeta. And while Vegeta is kind of struggling against Goku's full power, and then Goku laughs and says that Vegeta's pretty good, and then Goku goes Kaioken times 10 on top of Super Saiyan Gold, which is pretty nice, of a boost. But then Vegeta uses his ultimate Vegeta form for, well, let's just call it the um let's call it the perfected Vegeta form. Okay. His perfected Vegeta form. And he's able to easily fend off Goku. Who pushes his Kaioken to 100. Just to not be defeated easily. As Vegeta drops down, knowing he has to save it for when he fights me. I power up into Kaioken, my sight restored. As I try and fight with them, Vegeta powers up to his full power, catching me off guard and knocking me away before Goku solar flares me, and he says that you're not fighting until we're done. And I say, oh, come on, okay, fine. But you do realize I'll make it harder for you? Goku says. And I power up even further, trying, as I watch, and I drop down into base, excited as Vegeta tries to pull out more techniques. He uses Force Spirit Fission on Goku, who goes into Ultra Instinct to dodge some of the attacks, because he still doesn't have, full power Super Saiyan Gold. But then he's able to glimpse into that form, and is able to stay in Super Saiyan Gold while dodging attacks in Ultra Instinct. And the multiplier of Ultra Instinct multiplies the multiplier of Super Saiyan Gold, which is why full power is so strong. That's the one that's close to Whis' power, by the way. The only reason I can ever be close to him. As Goku powers up into Kaioken 200, it starts tearing his body apart. While he's in the Super Saiyan Gold full power. Well, no, it's not Super Saiyan Gold full power. It's the instinctual Super Saiyan Gold, or Super Saiyan Gold Ultra Instinct for short, which I guess is not short. How about, yeah, no, that's it. So it doesn't have the multiplier that full power Super Saiyan Gold does. However, it does have the Ultra Instinct in there. So it is still stronger and definitely faster. And Goku is actually struggling with Vegeta, but he's able to push through. When Vegeta goes full power again, he only has like 30 seconds of being able to use it left before his body can't handle it. So he uses 5 seconds to knock Goku back. And then he uses Force Spirit Fission on the disoriented Goku. And then he says that he picked up a technique before going into his full power, and then saying Kaioken, which drops him down to another 15 seconds left, while using it, but he uses 10 seconds to defeat Goku before dropping back into base. And where it's, by the way, been 3 years in the time chamber. This is the final day on the 4th year. And Moro will be then we'll have a day to rest before Moro comes. But yeah. Sorry. So yeah, so Goku is knocked down as Vegeta powers down. He knows he only has 5 seconds that he can use the Kaioken ×2 mixed with his strongest form. The super sorry. The the Ultimate Vegeta, whatever. No, the perfected Vegeta. Sorry. Perfected Vegeta form is only usable for him for 5 seconds left in combination with the Kaioken. And then I instantly power up into Super Saiyan Gold full power, and Vegeta powers up into Super Saiyan Blue Evolution and starts fighting with me. And I tell him that if he does this, if he uses this form too long without using his full power, it will drain him. And he laughs and says that he knows. As I power up even further to combat him, he is just barely hanging on to the fight, and then he powers up into Super Saiyan. Into perfected Vegeta, Kaioken ×4. As he jumps into Kaioken ×4, his power skyrockets four times that of my power. So I power up into Kaioken ×2. And my superior knowledge of fighting and the techniques, and Vegeta in general, gives me a slight edge on him, putting me at a higher power, or just slightly stronger. So I'm still losing the fight, but not by as much. So I'm able to power up to Kaioken ×3, which is very draining for me. Keep in mind, but I don't die or get knocked out, whatever. I am in my full power of Kaioken ×3 as I start losing power rapidly. I go into Kaioken ×5, knowing that I could technically go into 10 without dying, but I don't want to risk it. So a 5 times Kaioken is easily overpowering him. So he, and this is all in the span of milliseconds, right? So he powers up into Kaioken ×10, which is a huge boost from what he was doing. Then he smacks me to the ground before dropping out into base. But that one attack left me whirling through the air. And I'm able to stop myself. But that one attack hurt me enough that it shocked me out of my Kaioken and Super Saiyan Gold full power, and I dropped into blue for just one split second. But Vegeta, with the last of his strength, went Super Saiyan Blue evolution, then shouting Kaioken ×3, and then he punched me, and was almost able to knock me out. I was lying on the ground half conscious, but he passed out from the sheer strain. And then I dropped to base. I was dropped into base, and then powered up into Super Saiyan. and I said, that was close. Vegeta, you might have been able to beat me. As Vegeta, who woke up again after a couple minutes after I fed both of them senzu beans, and I told Vegeta that he could have beaten me if he hadn't fought Goku first. He might have had a chance, because he shocked me with those power-ups. And Vegeta told me that he was using every last bit of his energy, and I realized that for half a second, I had tapped into Super Saiyan Gold Limit Breaker because I had completely forgotten what had happened during that half second, but Vegeta had told me that I had completely obliterated him in that second. And I realized that I had actually increased in power by so much because Vegeta forced me to drop out of Super Saiyan Gold. So I was now actually even stronger. So even though Vegeta might actually have been stronger than me, when using every single thing he had, I still am stronger. And I said that it's kind of like having a Zenkai, but not. As a power up into Super Saiyan Gold, my power just explodes. But then I drop down because I can't handle it anymore. And then I laugh to Vegeta and say that was the closest fight I've ever had with him. And he agrees. Before we go outside, and then a day later, Vegeta, me, and Goku all is splitting headaches, and Vegeta starts powering up, but he powers up into perfected Vegeta, and his headache instantly stops. But I hear a voice in my head laughing, and I know it's Moro, and he said that he found Planet Cereal using their Dragon Balls to increase his magic capabilities by 1,000 times. And soon we will be his loyal minions. And I told him that it was kind of stupid to reveal your plan, as I shout out to Vegeta what I had heard, and I said that me and Goku might not be able to do as well against the headaches, and I told him that he's partially using a form called Ultra Ego, and that might be what's keeping him from getting taken over, and then Goku's able to break free of it, but I'm half human, so I don't have all the Saiyan pride and whatever that Vegeta and Goku have as pure Saiyans, because I literally used a wish to become a Saiyan, and I wasn't even the smartest or the most calculating ever, and I told Vegeta and Goku to take me out now, before I could end up killing them. But Goku said he couldn't do it, and I told him to run instead. Then, as Vegeta powered up, he thought he was gonna kill me. But then he was flying. But then Goku saw Vegeta flying back. Words as I was following after him, just a blur of light. It was I punched him again and again and again under the influence of the powerful magician, and Vegeta was taking a lot of damage as he dropped into base before he started to hear the voice alongside me, and he was stronger than even Babidi. So unlike the Majin stuff where he was in control, he might not be in as much control here. So Goku had started to run away and solar flared me, and Vegeta had powered up into Super Saiyan Blue, which is the highest he could go. But still, he was hearing whispers of Moro, and he was seeing me half conscious, and I was standing over him, and he powered up into Blue again before I knocked him back into base, and he said no. As I powered up even further, I tried to chase after Goku, but he had already escaped while using his Super Saiyan Gold, his Ultra Super Saiyan, what? His Super Saiyan Gold Ultra Instinct, or his instinctual Super Saiyan Gold, along with a Kaioken times 400. I couldn't find him, and I wasn't willing to use all that power just to find him. And but part of me in the back of my head wondered why I was doing it. Because I knew that wasn't right, and he got up again, powering back up into Blue. But this time, I didn't attack him, and I said, Vegeta, go. And then I powered up even further, and I was fighting with myself, as I knew that none of this was right. But I powered back up and started to chase after Vegeta, slamming his head into the ground with such force that he was half conscious again, and Moro was finally able to get to him. And then I told Vegeta, who now looked quite a bit like baby Vegeta from GT, and I told him that only Goku knew that what was happening. So Vegeta told Moro that he would pretend that Goku was the one that had been taken over before getting the rest of the Earthlings, because many people like Krillin had already been taken over, but some people that were too weak, like Yamcha, Moro couldn't sense them and take them over as well. So, but he was coming to Earth, and once the strongest fighters had joined him, he knew that he would own the whole universe, because me and Vegeta together could probably kill Whis. That's right, full power Whis we could kill at that point. So, yeah. And then I told Moro that we didn't even have to hide it, but he said that the other humans would be on high alert if we didn't, so we had to, just to make sure we could actually take them over. Because some of the humans had strong minds, according to him, like a Krillin, who had been the last one to get taken over. And it took longer than even I did, because he resisted. So, basically, the Moro arc is happening, and everybody is split. But, again, I flash into consciousness, and I say, what? I can't do this. And Vegeta, who had already been half conscious, about the truth, was like, I know, this is terrible. And, but then we flashed back out, and powered up and started chasing after Goku, because if he could tell the remaining Earthling, then, he could actually have a chance to fight. But then, I punched Vegeta far away, and then chased after him, as I had for a brief second gotten control of myself, and Vegeta, who had started shaking out Moro's consciousness, realized that I had actually been able to help him with Force Spirit Fission, which had removed the part of Moro which had been talking to us from our minds because he had been using his energy signal. Believe me, it's weird. To increase his range, and because of that, we were partially not even under his control. We were under his energy's control mainly, and I had been able to sense that in the brief seconds of lucidity I had had. So I knocked Vegeta with Force Spirit Fission, and he freed himself by punching himself again, and then dodging me, who had powered up to my full power, and I had a bit of a boost in power because of Moro's energy in me, and I laughed as Moro had just in 7-3, and I knew that, so I knew he'd be almost unstoppable. And I tried to kill Vegeta, and many of the Earthlings had already started fighting Goku. And I used telepathy through Moro to tell Krillin and the stronger Earthlings that had been fighting Goku to get over here, and fight with Vegeta. But Vegeta, who had powered up into his ultimate Vegeta, his perfected Vegeta form, had gone into Kaioken times 100, and was now beating on me, as me and my full power was at Kaioken times 50, and I gritted my teeth and went to Kaioken times 100 myself and started defeating Vegeta before he powered up into Kaioken times 200, and I wasn't willing to power up any further because the energy I had been losing was starting to be Moro's energy, and Moro knew that, so he was trying to keep me from losing it. So I powered up even further, and just to Kaioken times 150, which was decently close to him, as Vegeta screamed in agony. His power level dropped significantly, and his Kaioken had given out, but he was barely in perfected Vegeta. So he was exhausted and told me that he didn't have much he could do left, and my eyes flashed open, and I said, "Vegeta, run!" As my eyes went back to the color of red that they had been in, and then my eyes flashed blue again, because things. It was blue. Whatever. My eyes are blue in real life too. So I was able to get brief consciousness visions, or whatever you want to call them. And I told Vegeta to hit me as much as he could, and he started punching me with Force Spirit Fission, as some of the Earthlings were coming towards me, but the rest had been saved by Goku. And Goku, whenever he started to get turned, he just used Force Spirit Fission on himself. The last couple Earthlings that had been taken over by Moro had finally reached us, and me and them were all attacking Vegeta, and Vegeta, who was holding back so that they wouldn't die from a single punch of his, couldn't hold me off, because he couldn't tell who was who, in the flurry of attacks, and I solar flared him, and no, Krillin solar flared him, with Chaozu and Chaozu and Hercule, who had also been taken over because apparently he was strong Moro, he wasn't actually. But Moro didn't know that. So, yeah, he had been given the highest boost in power with Moro's energy. And he was actually a challenge now. And then suddenly, he Vegeta hit me with a final hit, which freed me from Moro's control, and I was fast enough to blitz every Z fighter, and using enough Force Spirit Vision to knock Moro out of him with only a couple seconds. Because without me to be the only one that was actually making him struggle, Vegeta could help, and together we were able to defeat the Earthlings. Well, just Krillin and those guys. As I went over to Goku, I told him I was sorry, and he told me that was no problem. But Moro had just gotten to Earth. And all the Earthlings had been invigorated with Moro's power, and now they were on his side again, with every single person on Earth now against us, other than us three and Gohan. So Piccolo and even Videl had been completely taken over, and everybody was fighting everyone, and chaos was breaking out as Gohan was fighting against a corrupted Piccolo and Videl, who had both been given the powers that were hundreds of times stronger than even him, and that was just a small fraction of Moro's energy. As he was probably even with Whis now in his power. Keep in mind, he definitely got a lot stronger. But, me being by the way, I just want to say the only reason these guys are surpassing Beerus and whatnot is because, for 3 reasons. One, because, I know everything about Dragon Ball, and I know that, and from the very start, I know that Zeno is my goal. And, the second reason is because I am a half Saiyan who trains non-stop, pretty much, and half Saiyans that train enough can pretty much have Frieza's potential. No, I'm not saying they will, but they definitely have quite a bit of potential, which makes me strong. And 3, because the power boosts I get in Super Saiyan Gold increase my power by quite a bit, because Super Saiyan Gold is a huge multiplier, and whenever I get forcefully dropped out of it, I keep my power from when I was in it, which was enough to help me. So I'm extra strong now compared to what I was before. I had Super Saiyan Gold, and I was able to get Super Saiyan Gold a while ago, so even without knowing how I could increase my power that way, I had sometimes already started doing it, which gives a pretty good explanation for some of the things that happen. Anyway, back to the fight against Moro. We were able to knock most of the Earthlings out, and pretty much every just normal human. But there were so many, like billions, that had all gotten the power of flight and attacked us, that they were actually posing a bit of a challenge. Hundreds of attacks, all that didn't hurt, were starting to pile up. And some of them were actually pretty strong for humans, like power levels of 11, which is tiny, but still. And everywhere, there were just people Thankfully, most of them were weak enough that we could just knock them out or use force spear fission. But we had to decrease our power a lot just to not kill them, which meant that they could actually hurt us because we were in a fraction of a fraction of our power in our base forms. Just think about it. Beerus can destroy a whole planet full of billions of people, fighting each of those people and winning. And we're stronger than Beerus, well, in our strongest forms, but still. And Earth is a really weak planet. So, yeah. I don't think Beerus has even had to try to destroy planets, so still. But there are just so many that is posing a slight challenge, and we can't exactly win. So, I power up even further than what I already had been, and my aura alone killed quite a few people and knocked a lot others away. And then I shouted to Vegeta to start fighting Moro, and I would take care of the rest of the humans. As I hated it, but I started to hold back less and less. I still wasn't killing people as many. I still was only killing people on accident, but I was holding back so little compared to what their power was that every single time I hit them, I feared that they could have died. So I started to use my pinky, to fight very softly, and I was trying to make sure I was okay, and they were okay. But Vegeta, who had been trying to use Force Vision on Moro, realized that Moro was immortal, and that there had been, and he, and then I used a 100 times solar flare, or well, Krillin did, which blinded everybody but me and Vegeta and Goku and Gohan. And Gohan didn't know Force Spear Fission, so he couldn't fight the people. He couldn't fight Videl and Piccolo because Piccolo was as strong as him. Actually, yeah, it's kind of crazy, but Piccolo was as strong as Gohan in this story. Because Gohan's a bit of a meh. And also we got a huge power boost, so yeah. And I powered up even further. And I said, it's over! As I was hundreds of times stronger than any Frieza tier villain. I was even in my base at that point. I powered up to my fullest in my base, and then went around knocking everybody out while just putting my hand near them, knocking them out. So I did that and every normal person had been knocked out, and and was saved. And then I went over to I collected every Dragon Ball in like 10 minutes because I could go through the earth really fast before powering up to 100 to Super Saiyan, and collecting the final one, and then I wished for Shenron to make Moro mortal, and Moro had started to be worried about Vegeta, was now mortal, and Vegeta was actually posing a threat while going into Kaioken. Perfected Vegeta Kaioken for every couple seconds, but only for a couple seconds at a time. And he was draining his power really fast. So he decided to go out in a blaze of glory as Goku gave him some of his energy because he knew Vegeta was stronger than him. And Vegeta, who had increased his power even further, powered up into his full power now, and then shouted Kaioken times 400, and was able to knock Moro into the ground. And he was half dead, but he had been able to grab Vegeta's neck in the final seconds of the fight, and now he knew how to use his full power, and Moro could handle it easily. So he now had perfected Vegeta, or perfected Moro, I guess, along with a huge Kaioken boost. As he shouted Kaioken times 1,000, and in his full power, it actually, his limbs, he was only able to contain the power with magic, because of how powerful of a magician he had become. And I came over, but I couldn't. I was one punched. Barely live and conscious, and I used a Kaioken times 2,000 in my full power, and then and I still wasn't even close to him. But I eventually powered up even further. But he kept knocking me into my base form, but I kept going back into Super Saiyan Gold, and and another time, as he had gotten me in my gut yet again, I told him that each time he knocked me down, I got back up thousands of times, millions maybe of times stronger, and I powered back up into my full power, Super Saiyan Gold. But then I powered up even further, and I kept powering up, and then I said, this is Ultra Super Saiyan Gold. And I said, this form is not much. It's just a power boost, but still. It's twice as strong as normal Super Saiyan Gold full power, so that's kind of count as something, right? And I was fighting him pretty evenly, and then something happened, and me, who is in Ultra Super Saiyan Gold, which is a different form from the other Ultra Super Saiyan Golds, actually powered up into Super Saiyan Gold Limit Breaker, and I said, oh, that's how you do it. Well, now I know how to transform into it, but I can't do it too much, or my power will. But then Moro hits me in the head, and it shocked me because he was stronger than I had believed him to be, and he was still draining my power, which I hadn't realized, and now he was getting billions of times stronger a second, fighting me, but he couldn't contain all of this power, and I told him to watch it as he started to, as one of his limbs shrank, and then inflated like a balloon, and I punched him into the atmosphere before kicking him into his space, and I started to charge a Kamehameha to finish him, but he hit me with another Ki Blast, so I tried to power up in Ultra Blast, but he said that his power was so much that not even I could defeat him with my full power, and I told him to shut up, but he kept rambling on about his infinite strength or whatever. And I said, you gave me ample time to charge up this. And he said, charge up what? And then I powered up he powered up my Ultra Blast. And I told him that it was finally over, and that he finally could not beat me. And Moro died. Simple as that, he died. Anyway, I don't know how to end this episode, but I'll end it on cliffhanger. But when he went to Planet Cereal for the Dragon Ball, somebody found those found out his power and decided that they needed enough, and then that person heard that some people had enough power to beat him even while Ample powered up. And he also heard that those people were Saiyans. And so Granola made a wish that might or might not cost him everything. Oh yeah, also Frieza went into a time chamber and decided to train for 100 years in there. After using a random Dragon Ball plant, a random plant with Dragon Balls for eternal youth. Bye.